is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lots to tell you about after shots were fired this morning in Fargo, and Moorhead police are looking for a suspect on the run after stealing a car. But we begin today in Florida, where more than 50 people are still unaccounted for after a building collapsed just north of Miami Beach. At least one person was killed. Peter King has our top story from the city of Surfside.
Dramatic video shows the middle section of the condo building in Surfside collapsing first, followed by the section closest to the ocean. The air quickly filling with smoke and debris. 55 apartments gone in a matter of seconds.
Literally half of that building is not there anymore.
Now you can see 12 stories of exposed apartments. Air conditioners still clinging to the side, a bunk bed teetering on the edge. Bystander Nicholas Balboa was one of the first on the scene and helped save a child.
I was able to hear the boy that was pulled from the rubble yelling. As I got closer, I was able to see his hands sticking through the rubble, waving. He said that his mom was in there with him. His arm was pinned, just sheer panic.
Some residents unable to escape their intact apartments were rescued from their balconies. The governor says search and rescue teams are in contact with some survivors.
They are in search and rescue mode. They are trying to identify survivors. I know they have made contact with some, and they are doing everything they can to save lives.
Many of the condos here are owned by retirees who leave for the summer. The city's mayor tells us many people live here full time. Friends and family members of condo residents are gathering at a nearby reunification center and letting authorities know if their phone calls to loved ones have gone unanswered.
We've been calling them like nonstop, no reply.
Investigators are trying to find out what caused the collapse. Peter King, CBS News, Surfside, Florida.
Rescue crews say they pulled 2 people from the wreckage. One of them has since died. Now here's a look at your top 4 at 4. Police say a man shot a gun out of his car window in downtown Fargo this morning, then took off. A woman was also seen running from the area. The first call came in around 2 a.m. It was a report of a man threatening people with a gun at Fort Knox. Shortly after, another call was placed outside the Salvation Army. This is the 3rd report of shots fired in Fargo in recent weeks, all of them being unsolved. On June 11th, police found shell casings near businesses around 43rd Street and 18th Avenue South in Fargo. On May 23rd, a man died after being shot outside the Africa restaurant and nightclub along 45th Street and 7th Avenue South. Multiple shots were fired, and witnesses report seeing a vehicle leave the club. Police have not identified any suspects or vehicles tied to either of these cases. The Clay County Sheriff says they're looking for a person who allegedly stole a vehicle and led law enforcement on a chase early this morning. It started near Sabin around 2 a.m. The driver made it into Moorhead, but police called off the chase when he or she entered a construction zone on 12th Avenue South near 20th Street. The driver hasn't been found, but officials say they believe they know who it is. 2 people are recovering this afternoon after multiple vehicles crashed into a house. That happened around 7:30 a.m. in South Fargo along 13th Avenue South and 10th Street. The battalion chief tells us 3 vehicles were involved in the accident. Both a van and pickup truck hit a house on the corner of the intersection, causing severe damage. 1 adult and 1 child have minor injuries. And Derek Chauvin will be sentenced tomorrow. The former Minneapolis police officer was found guilty of 2nd and 3rd degree murder, as well as 2nd degree manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. The 45-year-old was convicted back in April and could face more than 30 years in prison. Sentencing guidelines call for him to face a minimum 12.5 years for the most serious charge because he has no prior criminal history. However, aggravated factors have the potential of increasing his sentence to up to 40 years. We'll be streaming Chauvin's sentencing tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. on our website, valleynewslive.com, and on our Facebook page. That wraps up today's top 4 at 4. Now here's Hutch with a first look at your forecast. Hutch?
Stacy, thanks so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Just beautiful shot here taken of a baby doe and or a doe and the baby there. I got to tell you, Rick, a beautiful shot uploaded there of nature at its finest, and temperatures today at their finest. Notice the cooler pool where you see the yellows up there north of Minot, 80 there. 79 in Thief River Falls, 77 for Bemidji. We do have near 90 in Aberdeen and Mobridge still. So we have a couple of passing showers just floating along the Highway 200 corridor, pushing out towards Wells County right now. So if you're in Harvey, you may get a sprinkle, and the western counties will see an increase in clouds this evening. A nice night to get out and swing the golf clubs, as temperatures here in the FM area will be dandy. We're talking about 80s until we get to sunset. And then we'll have increasing clouds heading into the overnight hours with some comfortable 60s. Will you be able to see the super moon tonight? I'll have details on that in your hour-by-hour forecast, and we'll talk about a chance of rain to close out your work week next.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. The Cass County Sheriff's Office completed its investigation into human remains found earlier this month. They say no foul play is suspected in the death of 62-year-old David Rickbeal of Ham Lake, Minnesota. His remains were found on June 7th in a heavily wooded area of Blind Lake Township in rural Cass County. Back in 2018, his vehicle was found in the area, running and unoccupied. A missing persons investigation was launched and extensive searches were done on foot, ATV, drone, air support, and with the help of canines. The Cass County Sheriff says it's likely that Rickbeal walked away from his vehicle in the thickly wooded and swampy area. A growing number of Minnesota law enforcement agencies are using drones to help with search and rescue efforts, investigations, and public safety. The legislative report comes after new regulations lawmakers passed last year. The report says 93 agencies statewide either maintained or used a drone in 2020, with nearly 1,200 flights recorded. The bipartisan law prevents an agency from deploying a drone with facial recognition technology unless authorized by a warrant. Exceptions to the warrant include emergency situations that involve the risk of death or bodily harm. A court has suspended Rudy Giuliani from practicing law in New York due to his claims about the legitimacy of the 2020 election. A panel of judges say there's evidence Giuliani gave false and misleading statements to courts, lawmakers, and the public in his capacity as a lawyer for former President Donald Trump. The suspension, which comes a day short of Giuliani's 52nd anniversary as a licensed attorney, takes effect immediately. His lawyers say this is unprecedented, and they believe Giuliani does not pose a danger to public interest. The Biden administration has extended the eviction moratorium for another month. The nationwide ban on evictions was scheduled to expire June 30th, but the CDC director signed an extension today, and it now goes through July 31st. The agency says this is intended to be the final extension of the moratorium. The CDC also says that keeping people in their homes continues to be a key step in helping to stop the spread of COVID-19. Valley News Live sports director Beth Houle is getting ready to sit down with Carson Wentz. The NDSU superstar turned NFL quarterback is in town ahead of Sunday's Landon's Night at the Lights, where he'll be sharing uplifting messages in honor of the West Fargo boy who died in 2019. Beth is catching up with Wentz on his work in the community and changes in his professional career. You can see that interview tonight on Valley News Live at 6. There's nothing like live music in a park. You can join in starting tonight at Gooseberry Park in Moorhead. The park will be filled with the jazz band from the FM area. The Kicks Band hasn't played a live concert since February of last year because of the pandemic. They say there's nothing like music to turn your long and stressful day into a better one.
There's nothing quite like a park concert when the music's going and the people are chatting, and maybe you have a little picnic or some drinks, and it can just be real relaxing and a special evening.
The concert is free and starts at 7 at Gooseberry Park. There will be a show every fourth Thursday of the summer. If it rains, the concert could be delayed or canceled altogether. The Red River Zoo is welcoming a new baby camel. She was born on June 7th, and after a few weeks behind the scenes with her mom, she's now on exhibit, living with the rest of the camel herd. But she needs a name, and the zoo needs your help. 3 names have been chosen. You can vote on your favorite at a donation box located at the camel exhibit. Lots of people are suggesting additional names on our VNL Facebook page. You can join the fun too. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll get the latest news and weather posted right to your feed. After outcry on social media, Frontier is ditching its COVID recovery fee. We'll tell you why they're thinking twice next.
Temperatures cooler across the board, between 5 and 25 degrees colder than yesterday at this time. High temperatures, though, still summer-like in the Southern Valley and out west, where we saw a lot of 80s. Hey, the strawberry moon is on the doorstep. It rises tonight. Moonrise 9:55. Will you be able to see it? Your hour-by-hour forecast does include some clouds. I'll tell you where next.